She says you want her skin, her face, her nose, her looks, her life, that if you can get her raped and murdered, then you get to be the precious angel.
I'm going to enter into her body and become her. Is that
and there's a point at which it is, we are talking mental illness and delusion, and there's a point where she's just making excuses to escape accountability.
Correct.
Well, last August, she was arrested breaking into a car in the possession of meth.
Right, correct.
She had a child and addicted to meth. She's at 18 months, she absconded with the child, was arrested at a meth house with meth.
Yep.
But then there are periods of time in between where you just don't know.
There has been a chunk of time where we were fairly certain that she was clean and that she wasn't using.
I would say close to 10 years where she was working well, she was being successful.
Why do you think she agreed to come here today? Because she, we've talked to her, and frankly, she says you can just go jump in the lake, editing that substantially.
I think she, is going to enjoy her moment.
Yeah, I think she's here to be in the spotlight, and I think she's here because she wants to prove to everyone that she's not crazy. And
she said this is her vindication party.
Yeah.
This is her coming out party to vindicate herself and show that she's not what you two judge her to be. And she is here. Stephanie says if she is mentally ill, then her mother and sister are too. She says she's here for vindication. Well, we're going to meet her after the break and hear what she has to say.
My mother and my sister Ryan are jealous of me. I am 110 pounds, I'm attractive, and I need my mother and my sister to shut up. I'm coming on the show for vindication.
And later, they think that you have this exaggerated view of yourself.
Sure, I'm hot. Did everybody look at me when I came in?
Are you unstable?
Aren't we all?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I am still haunted by the abuse that I had as a child. My father said that it was all my fault.
For the first time in 3 years.
He says you seduced him. How old were you when this started?
7 years old.
She will face her molester.
You say she pulled down your pants being a curious child.
Where do you think the curiosity came from? Little girls don't think about strip teasing unless they're taught it.
I didn't teach you strip tease.
You showed me porn videos.
It wasn't a big deal.
The father showing their minor daughter a pornographic video, that's a big deal.
That's tomorrow. The feeling.
Well, Ryan says her sister Stephanie takes zero accountability for her out-of-control behavior, which includes being arrested as a fugitive of justice and having a child born addicted to drugs. Now, Stephanie, on the other hand, says her sister is just an evil mini version of their mother, and she is sick and tired of both of their unfounded and ridiculous accusations. Take a look.
I'm coming on the show for vindication. I get constant ridicule and the constant judgment, and I'm tired of it. I need my mother and my sister to shut up. Stop talking and listen to me. My mother and my sister accuse me of being a drug addict. I am not. I am a self-medicator and I only use prescription medication. I am on Ritalin, Ambien, and Xanax. The Ritalin makes me focus and it calms the storm in my head. I have never been clinically diagnosed with a mental illness, but I have self-diagnosis, OCD, ADHD, and extreme anxiety. My mom and my sister Ryan used my arrest to try and take my children away from me. When I was in jail, nobody helped me. I talked to my mother for about 30 seconds on the phone. She was more concerned about herself. The article was so horrible. She just blew me off like she normally does because of their constant judgment. I don't want to be around my family. They're constantly watching every move that I make. My mother and my sister Ryan are jealous of me. I am 110 pounds, I'm attractive, and I'm judged by that. My mom and my sister are sad about their own lives, so they use me as a way to deflect from that, and it's irritating.
Well, Stephanie, how are you?
I'm here. How are you?
I'm here. You said that this is kind of a coming out party in terms of getting things straight and getting vindicated. What is it they don't understand that you want to
Nothing.
be understood?
They don't. They believe what they read.
And what do they read?
The 100 keys and the, dealership.
Well, are those things true?
No.
So you didn't get arrested for that?
I was arrested. It's alleged, but it's not. I saw something I wasn't supposed to see.
What did you see?
75 keys at a dealership keys at friends. They set me up and I took the fall and was in jail for 28 days.
Okay. So you didn't steal the keys?
You were arrested breaking into a car, Stephanie, at the motel. That's what...
See?
Well, is that true?
No. You don't know what happened. No one's ever let me talk.
Well, I'm letting you talk.
Yeah.
What happened?
I woke up in the motel, had no idea where I was at, banging on the door, my phone's going off, ringing, text messages about keys and dealership, and two gentlemen were banging on my door, and I go to the door, and then they were grabbing me out of the room.
And then, how did you... They just took you straight to the police car?
No. They took me straight to where I saw the keys. About 4 days prior.
This is interesting to me. So you weren't arrested from the hotel room. You were abducted,
Yes.
and they took you where? Well, I'm not asking for the address. I mean, they
It was
took
on
you.
the street. So we were on the street, and then there was a police officer coming out of where I saw the keys 4 days prior.
Well, here's what the police blotter said. Now, this was August 9th, and it said that you were jailed for allegedly stealing a vehicle and over 100 keys from a car dealership. The police recovered some keys and the vehicle, but while they were waiting to get a search warrant to the house that Stephanie allegedly left the residence and rented a room in a motel. Motel personnel called the police. Stephanie was trying to break into a car and broke the door handle. The police arrested Stephanie and found methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia. You were booked on a felony count of possession of dangerous drugs and an out-of-jurisdiction felony for burglary of car and writing a bad check. 3 misdemeanors, then theft of a building, possession of drug paraphernalia, and criminal mischief. So that's not right?
No, some of it is, and some of it isn't. Things were planted on me.
You were ripped away by people who weren't police, and you were kidnapped by them. You went back to this house, and you're just standing around, and then they decided to arrest you?
I wasn't standing around. I was abducted, Ryan.
I
Pay
know,
attention
but
to what I'm saying.
that's what I just said, Stephanie.
That is not what
I
you
just told
said.
you that.
Stop telling me what's going on in my life.
That's what we're trying to figure out. We're trying to figure out what's going on in your life.
I'm trying to tell you, darling. And that's not a term of endearment.
Oh, yeah, I don't expect much of that from you ever.
It says they found methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia on you. Is that true?
When I was sitting there on the handcuffed in the police station, I had a case that I kept all my, because I'm a cosmetologist, all my hair stuff in, and it had 2 locks on it. And yes, it's plastic, but I could see from the bench that they had been cut off, and that's where the methamphetamines and the pipe were in.
So you think they
Hidden in there.
planted those
Absolutely.
in your... Okay. All right, we're going to take a break. Stephanie insists she is being followed and that her phone is being bugged as well. She even says the police placed her in protective custody to keep her safe. Her mother and sister say it's not true. She's just lying to herself. So she's delusional about that. We're going to let her clear that up after the break.
I'm constantly being watched. When I'm out and about, driving anywhere, I see the different vehicles that follow me around. I don't like talking on the phone because I believe they have been tapping my phone.
It's absolutely crazy. It makes no sense at all.
And later, she said, my mother is jealous of me. She wants my skin. She wants my legs.
She wants to skin me and wear me like Lester's Versace.
We're not talking about, yeah. You've had good...
What?
During
running your president.
About a month ago, I went to see the counselor so that they could prescribe medication. I didn't like her condescending behavior. Right off the bat, she was asking me questions, trying to portray that I'm an addict. I could feel my anxiety getting to that limit of where I was going to explode on her. I told the counselor to her face that she was grumpy, a dork, and that she needed to brush her teeth, and she needed to take care of herself. You don't have to look like this. And I was thinking that how can she take care of me when she can't even take care of herself? I was done, and I left.
Well, Jody says her daughter, Stephanie, has become so delusional that she now believes the Italian mafia is protecting her from imaginary stalkers. Stephanie says she is not paranoid at all. She's not delusional. In fact, she claims the police faked her recent arrest to keep her safe.
The people who accuse me of stealing have been following me. I'm constantly being watched. When I'm out and about, driving anywhere, I see different vehicles following me around. Coming up close to my vehicle and trying to run me off the road.
It's absolutely crazy. It makes no sense at all.
I don't like talking on the phone because I believe they have been tapping my phone. I've had to change my phone number 4 different times. 2 days ago, the producers were trying to get a hold of me and left me multiple messages, and I was unable to receive them until I had left the county. They absolutely were jamming my phone. When I was arrested last week, things did not happen the way that everybody thinks. My arrest was completely fake. The police thought that I was drinking and driving, so they came up to my car, and I ran out into traffic because I was scared. I was running from the people that were following me around, and I was running back to my apartment. I remember officers coming up to take me down, and then I blacked out. When we pulled into the police station, the male officer went to get me out, and all the plastic in the back of the cop car was completely dismantled. The police placed me in protective custody for my own safety to protect me from the people that were following me. And I had to do a sobriety test, and it was confirmed that I was not drinking.
That is another example of her delusions and her disconnection from reality.
It's like she's falling into this abyss that I can't get her out of.
My family would rather believe that I'm a criminal than actually hear the truth of what's really happened in my life. They need to wake up.
So the police did stop you thinking you had committed a crime.
That's not.
So because that's what you said, but did they already know? You're saying they already knew you hadn't committed a crime when they stopped you.
Oh, let me clarify it
Okay.
because it's kind of confusing. So I let my friend, it's a male friend, drive my car. He starts to go a different way. I said, that is not the way to my apartment. I said, stop trying to take me somewhere else. And he's like, oh, okay. And then we pull out on to the street that I live on. He kept mumbling stuff. And I said, get the out of my car. He gets out and then leaves the door wide open. I'm in the passenger seat, and I just jumped over the middle console, and my friend, he was long gone with the door wide open. So what the police were notified was me running out into traffic.
Well, here's what the police said about that. They charged you with obstructing justice. They said they observed a parked car around 11 p.m. whose hazard lights were flashing. When they approached the Lexus sedan, a woman exited the car and fled. Officers pursued and apprehended Stephanie, who allegedly resisted when officers attempted to arrest her for obstructing justice by fleeing. She was charged with resisting arrest and obstructing justice, both misdemeanors, and I understand 4 officers were involved.
They ended up dropping the obstructing justice
Why were you arrested?
because I ran out into traffic.
Okay.
When the female officer was there, I said, will you please just stay here with me? Just stay here with me. And she goes, but I am going to keep you here under protective custody.
Here's what it says. On-site arrest, custody, 2 days, $670. Protective custody, misdemeanor, resisting arrest, misdemeanor, obstructing justice, misdemeanor. And the protective custody was to protect you from hurting yourself or someone else?
No, it was because I was terrified.
We contacted a legal expert to interpret this protective custody charge, and according to law enforcement, the protective custody means taking someone into custody when they are a danger to themselves or others because of intoxication or mental infirmity.
They did an evaluation. That is correct. They kept me there, and
So it was protective custody to protect you from someone stalking you. It was protective custody to protect you because they deemed that you were a danger to yourself or others, either from intoxication or mental infirmity. Next, from insisting she's smarter and prettier to everyone believing that she's immortal, Ryan and Jody say Stephanie's grandiose opinions of herself are further indications that they think she's mentally unstable. She says that's absolutely not true. We'll talk about that after the break. Closed captioning provided by...
He is narcissistic pretty much every way. She has a grand impression of herself. She believes that she is smarter and prettier. She feels that women are jealous of her.
I hate saying that I'm pretty, but I am.
Stephanie hates other women. Stephanie is constantly using her appearance to put them down. She calls complete strangers fat cows because they're not what she deems as beautiful. Stephanie believes she's God's gift to men.
Well, Jody and Ryan say they are so concerned about Stephanie's unstable and unpredictable behavior that they believe urgent measures need to be taken to protect her. Are you unstable?
Aren't we all? Just kidding. No.
Do you have a drug problem?
No.
Have you had a drug problem in the past?
I've used, yes.
I mean, to a problem level.
No.
Did you have a child that was born addicted to drugs?
Yes.
And were you, at 18 months, was there an Amber Alert issued for your child, and were you arrested in front of a meth house with methamphetamines on you?
No. I don't understand. No. No. We don't want to get into that. We don't want to do that. We don't. No.
I'm sorry?
We do not want to get into that.
I don't think that story
The
is
extradition?
exactly
That is-
accurate.
Do you have a second trial set in March that has to do with methamphetamines?
Second trial?
Uh-huh.
It was because they're in two different counties.
Right.
Yes.
And that
I don't
has to do
know. I don't
with
know
meth?
Yes, where I live, there's that part, and then the Keys part is in a different county.
So
That was the
but
e-cigarette box.
So you don't have a problem because that was planted on you.
Yes.
Okay, so you're not using meth now.
No.
They're concerned that
We know what it's like to plant things and give it to the local sheriffs and have me
Are you
extradited.
suggesting that I planted that meth in the
No,
house
we
and gave
know
it to
who
the
did
sheriff?
well, they think that you
But
have.
why would you do that?
They think that you
We thought it
have.
was a great idea to take this unused methamphetamine pipe and turn it into the local sheriffs. And you want to know how they found me? Is because I jumped out of the car because he was beating me while driving down the street.
That was a different day.
No, it wasn't. How can you talk to me about what I'm living? That's interesting to me. I don't know. Do I do that to you?
No.
It doesn't make any sense. To see where the delusion is?
Well, let's talk about. They think that you have this exaggerated view of yourself, and you.
Sure. I'm hot.
Well, you told us that you just. No,
Did
come on,
anybody
come on,
look
come
at me when I came in?
You told the producers that you had been tested and had 185 IQ.
Yes. That was told to. But my mother told me that.
Because Stephen Hawking is 160,
Well, you know him.
and Albert Einstein is 160.
We can make it 1,000 if you'd like. I don't know, whatever
I mean,
number.
I'm just curious.
Right, Mom?
She can, when she puts herself and gets focused, she's done remarkable things.
But I'm delusional.
You,
Stephanie, you
this
have.
is before then.
We're not talking about. Yeah. You've had good.
What?
She said, my mother is jealous of me. She's been jealous of me my whole life. She wants my skin. She wants my nose. She wants my legs.
She wants to skin me and wear me like Lester's Versace.
I've told you that you are attractive, yes. And you're lucky, nice and tall.
You've said that I want your legs. I'm not, you're putting words into my mouth. And so again, this is why I don't communicate with you guys, because that comes out of both of you.
It comes out as a compliment,
Oh,
not
that
as a
all
real
was
thing.
very complimentary. Does anybody think here that that was complimentary, anything that they said when they saw that up on the screen? I'm going to go and say, no.
Well, let's leave them out of this. Do you believe that your mother wants you to be murdered and raped?
I just think she wants me to go away.
You have 2 children. Are you raising either one of them?
No, I'm not allowed to.
Why?
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 Well, I'm asking you.
Why, Ryan?
Excellent.
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, I'm just mimicking because I'm delusional.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I am still haunted by the abuse that I had as a child. My father said that it was all my fault.
For the first time in 3 years,
He says you seduced him. How old were you when this started?
7 years old.
she will face her molester.
You say she pulled down your pants being a curious child.
Where do you think the curiosity came from? Little girls don't think about strip teasing unless they're taught it.
I didn't teach you striptease.
You showed me porn videos.
It wasn't a big deal.
The father showing their minor daughter a pornographic video, that's a big deal.
That's tomorrow.
Stephanie's relationship with her children is very scattered. She hardly ever sees them.
I love my children very much, and I've always been there for them.
Stephanie has asked us to watch her kids, and then she didn't come back for several days.
Several times this past summer, Stephanie had left the children unattended, alone, and my niece would have to take care of her little brother, who's just a toddler. When she returned, her behavior was completely erratic.
My granddaughter loves her mother very much, but she wants to avoid confrontation. She has said, I just want to be a kid.
My mother is bad-mouthing me to my daughter, trying to get her to take her side.
She said that I had kidnapped her children, brainwashed her children.
My mother is coaching my children, telling them that I don't love them, and that's why I'm not around.
Stephanie has made threats that she would come and take her daughter from our home. We're not going to let that happen.
It hurts that my mother is trying to keep my children from me. She keeps saying that she's promised them that she was going to protect them, but I'm their mother. Well, what, are you trying to protect them from me? I will never, ever allow my mother to take my children away from me.
And you have 2 children, right?
Yes, I do.
And are you raising either one of them?
No, I'm not allowed to.
Why?
That's a good question. Why?
Why,
Well, I'm
Stephanie?
asking you.
Why, Ryan?
Oh, wow. That's excellent.
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, I'm just mimicking because I'm delusional.
No, I'm asking you
keep it up.
why.
Keep proving your case. You're doing a great job.
If you don't have a problem that needs addressing, you don't have custody of your children, you're not
I have
raising
custody
them.
of them. I'm just not allowed to raise them.
Why not? Why not? Why are you not allowed to raise them?
Mom.
Well, I'm not asking you. I'm asking you.
Well, because I've tried to do anything to move forward, and I keep getting knocked back. I have extreme high anxiety.
So you can't raise your children because you have anxiety?
The child is living with you.
Yes, and I've been granted temporary guardianship.
Were you aware of that?
No.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
Fine.
Right now, you're not in a spot where financially or emotionally that you are available to your children.
Correct.
When you say, look, I've been set up here, I've been set up there, people are following me here or there, that doesn't sound rational to me. And when you describe it, and when I ask you detailed questions about it, you can't connect the dots up in a way that makes sense.
No,
So
it
I don't
doesn't.
believe that it is what's happening. I believe that you are distorting that in your mind.
No.
And I believe that if you will unravel that and say, what I need to do is get that behind me and deal with my perceptions, deal with my anxiety, then I can get control of my life again, get my children back in my life, get my
Yes, that's what I'm
independence
trying
back.
to do, yes.
Then that's what I want to do. But I can't do that with you if everything is a sarcastic put down, and you're blaming the world for where you are
I'm not
instead of
blaming
yourself.
anybody.
Well, you're saying that
I'm
you've
mad
been
at
set
myself.
up. You're
I
saying
have
that you're
told
set
you
up.
that numerous
You're
times.
saying that there's a conspiracy and people
No,
are stalking
no,
you
no,
and
no,
bugging your
no.
phones, and I don't believe any of that. I
No.
believe that you have the ability to overcome all of this
I have
with
been.
some help.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to take a break. Stephanie says mothers living in glass houses shouldn't throw stones when it comes to being a terrible parent. I don't know how that helps us, but we'll be right back.
My entire life, my mother's always been jealous of me. She wants to be me. Always felt that she wants me to go away, be murdered. Then she could be me, the perfect little angel.
Do you need Dr. Phil's help? Text Phil to 88500 and share your story for a chance to appear on the show. Standard message and data rates may apply.
I have been used and abused my whole life. I was molested when I was 7 years old. I lost my virginity to being raped when I was 13 years old. I have been in severely abusive relationships. I dated a schizophrenic. He would just snap, and then from behind he would take a shoulder right here up against the wall and just freak out. He had about 20 stairs leading up to his condo and booted me right off. Kicked me down the stairs. One time I had to put a gun to his head so I could go to sleep. The guy threw me down on the ground, on the asphalt, sat with my belly down on the ground, and spit on me. I can't do it anymore. I'm serious, you guys. This is why I jumped out of the car. I can't. I'm done for the day.
Well, Stephanie says she's been really used and abused her entire life, but her family never seemed to care about that. I don't think it's true. I think they do care about that. And Stephanie says her mother's lack of compassion and lack of motherly instincts began at an early age. Take a look.
I always wanted my mom to love me, to hug me, and say that she was proud of me. My mother has never done any of that. My entire life, my mother's always been jealous of me. She wants to be me. When I was in high school, she made comments about how she wants my skin, she wants my nose, she wants my legs. I would come home and she'd be trying on my clothes. It's never felt like I'm her child. I feel like I'm her sibling. I taught my sister, Ryan, how to ride her bike, how to tie her shoes, how to cook, because my mother was out partying all the time. My sister treats me horribly, considering all the things that I have done for her. My mother's been married 4 times. Anytime that they would get close to me, she would divorce them. My mom would throw these big, huge parties, and older gentlemen would say things that were so inappropriate. Even as a child, you know it's inappropriate. You don't put a little child in those situations around adult men and leave me alone with them. She was supposed to be my protector. I don't feel safe around my mom. I've always felt that she wants me to go away, be raped, be murdered. My whole life, I feel like my mom's been trying to get rid of me. Then she could be me, the perfect little angel. I want her to stop taking away my thunder.
Do you think that what you're referring to as anxiety, I think it's probably a pretty good label,
Thank you.
do you think that's powerful enough that it is causing you to see the world as a hurtful place?
Yes.
In some respects?
Absolutely.
Because, you can look at it and, you talk about these people are like following you, or these people are out to get you or whatever, and it can sound like, wow, that's like really paranoid or psychotic or whatever. But the truth is, if we have really bad anxiety, and people that haven't had really bad anxiety have a hard time relating to this, but if you have really bad anxiety, you can see the world as a really, really hurtful place and be really, really threatened by it. And that makes it very difficult to function. And you also have a history with methamphetamine.
That's correct.
And methamphetamine can really change the neurotransmitters in your brain to the point that your problem recognition and your problem solving skills are really disrupted from what they may have been at a time before. And I think some of the behaviors that you are exhibiting now are not who you really are.
No.
I don't think that's the way you
That's
are.
how we feel too. That's why we're.
I don't think that's who you are at all. And I think one of two things are going to happen over the next 90 days. You're either going to go to court and get in a storm you don't want, or you're going to go down a path where you start a curative process and get yourself back where you're on your own 2 feet as a single and active parent. And she wants nothing more than to unify you back with your daughter.
Yes.
I don't want to judge you. I want to help you.
Thank you.
And I do have a plan right after the break.
Tomorrow, did as a child by her own father.
You showed me videos.
It wasn't a big deal.
Showing her a pornographic video, that's a big deal.
That's tomorrow.
Closed captioning provided by. Watch a live taping of the Dr. Phil Show. Call 323-461-PHIL or visit drphil.com. Tickets are free, and I hope to see you soon. I get you. I really do. And I am willing to do a couple of things. And I want to do this with you, not to you. If you don't want to do it, go to court and do what you do. But there's a place in Malibu that I'm going to offer you called Creative Care. And they deal with all sorts of things to get people back where they need to be, whether it's substance abuse, mental health treatment, whatever. And Creative Care is beautiful. They've got a campus in Malibu and a campus in Calabasas, and I mean, it's stunning. The biggest problem they have is people don't want to leave. Well, seriously, I mean, look at this place. It's absolutely stunning. And I've talked to Dr. Kaligi, who is the director there. He's been over your case. We've talked about this whole thing, and I've arranged for you to go there and be totally selfish in your own behalf and put yourself in the shop and say,
Do it.
for once, I'm going to put myself
I'm going to.
first. And then I want to get you a life coach, somebody that's going to help you with resume, somebody that's going to help you with contacts in your industry, somebody that's going to step up and help you get some traction and put things back together. It's awful easy to criticize you and ridicule you and talk about some of your thoughts and behaviors, or somebody can just step up and say, instead of judging me, just let me help you.
Yes.
And that's what I want to do. And if you'll let me do that, that's what I would like to offer for you to do.
Yes.
What do you think?
Awesome.
Okay? Fair enough? All right. I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to Creative Care for offering the resources to Stephanie. And as I say, that's just the beginning. After that, we say, all right, now, how do we go about getting her to star in her own life again?
Yes.
And that's what's going to happen. We'll see you next time.